What's up, y'all? This is my lovely wife, Sydney, who I've been majestically talking about. As a man of my word, I said I would let her give her opinion. There is still a final part four that we need to reveal, but I would love for you guys to hear her side of the story and maybe hear her frustrations, her insights as a woman seeking a godly husband. So,
Okay, I'll start from my beginning. I had it's 2020. I had just graduated from grad school, got my doctorate. I was about to start my life. I had about 3 jobs lined up in Ohio, and they all fell through because of COVID. And so I spent maybe 9 months living in my mom's house. How old was I? 27 years old. So in my head, I'm like, I'm almost 30. I have a degree, but I'm in my mom's house. I'm looking at God like, I just gave my life to you. Why is nothing working out? And so at the time, I was going to a very prophetic church, and the prophetess there told me that all my blessings are in Texas. And at the time, this guy had basically said, I'm not supposed to be talking to you, and was living in Texas. And I was just kind of like, well, Lord, there's other places in Texas. So I was applying in places like Waco. I wanted to do a specific thing. So I'm applying to specific jobs that are not in like the DFW, and nothing was really hitting. So then I applied to some jobs in the DFW, and I got, what did I get? I had like maybe 3 or 4 interviews, and I actually got a job in Texas, like in Dallas, but I was like, I really don't want to move there. So I kind of took too long to accept the job offer, and then it fell through. And then the woman of God that next Sunday was like, your blood is not about to be on my hands. You need to go to Texas. And so I applied to some more jobs in Dallas, and I got 6 interviews. I was like, okay, Lord, I'll go. So I took the job. I really didn't know of any other churches other than his church. So I like showed up Sunday. He actually wasn't there, but I was like happy he wasn't there. I was like, maybe he's not here anymore. But
no, it's South Africa.
yeah, he was out of the country. But I absolutely loved his church. The pastor really like spoke to me for the first time in my life. Like I was like, I actually enjoy going to church. So I was like, I'm going to this church, whatever, if he's there or not. But that next Sunday, he was there. And so from the beginning, we did Bible study when I lived in Ohio and he was in Texas. We did Bible study from like, what, January to,
April.
don't fight me on this.
April.
It was January.
It wasn't January.
Okay, whatever, you guys. We
You
did
need to
Bible
tell them
study for the
how-
entire time I lived in my mom's house. No,
I-
we're not fighting. We're not
Tell
fighting.
them how we talked. They
I'm
don't
right,
know
he's
how
wrong.
we
We met in 2016
one time.
one time at a mutual friend's birthday party. And then we didn't talk after that. So that's how we were like Facebook friends.
Yeah. And
then I saw him get baptized.
Hoochie.
And I said, hey, things have changed. I see. Because he was off the chain. Out of pocket.
Can I say something?
Out of pocket.
Can I say something? Now, mind you, this is after I came off a 3-day fast, praying the Lord to show me my wife, right? And then after I get done with this 3-day fast, she messages me. Remember, I'm in the midst of saying, God told me there are 5 counterfeits coming. So when she messages me, I'm like, I ain't talked to Sydney in a long time, but at the same time, I'm thinking she's the counterfeit. Okay.
Where is that?
You messaged me.
Okay. And then I messaged him, and that's how we started doing Bible studies. Because I was just turning a new page, and I was like, I don't really want to talk to anyone, even if it's just a friend that wasn't seeking after the Lord. So we did Bible studies for a while, and then he cut that off. And then basically we haven't really talked. Things are kind of awkward, and I show up at his church. And then things weren't as awkward just because he's a friendly person. I'm a friendly person. I was just excited to be in a new city and actually feeling like I'm moving in the will of God. So
I was irritated.
whatever.
Yeah.
So then we just like start spending time together. Like
serving together.
Yeah, serving together in the church, going out to eat just because we like to eat, and there's really nothing else to do.
That's like Christian's fat.
But yeah, we were just spending time together, just very platonic. And then the whole entire time, from the time I'm living in Ohio to the time like I moved to Texas, I knew there was something different about him. And then it became clear to me, I'm thinking in my head, like, this is my husband. Like, there's no other person. Like, there's literally no one else. So I would pray to God, like, I would ask the Holy Spirit, and I would always hear a yes. Like, I was like, I'm making this up. I can't be making this up. I would always hear a yes, this is your husband. But it really didn't matter because he hadn't confirmed it. So if you think someone's your husband, it don't even matter what you think you know, what you know that you know, what God has told you. It doesn't matter until he confirms it. Because what does the Bible say? A man that finds a wife. So if he hasn't confirmed it, what you think you know,
When you say he, is
doesn't
you talking
matter.
about God, or you talk about the man?
The man and God.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it didn't matter.
Side note, God did not marry Adam and Eve. Adam married Eve. He located her, not God.
Yeah, so it didn't matter what I thought that I knew or what I knew that I knew to be true. And then after about January, February, March, 3 to 4 months of living in Texas and like hanging out with him, I had a dream of the pastors of the church that we were at. They were driving this really nice car, and then I'm in the back seat. They're taking me somewhere, and then Dawson gets in the car next to me, and I woke up. I just kind of brushed it off because I was kind of in the mindset of this isn't my person. This is just a good friend. And then, yeah.
Well, so then I told him about how I was Pastor Phil. Pastor Phil, I said, "Hey, I see you talking to Sydney a whole lot more." And I said, "No, that's not my wife. That's just a counterfeit." And she said, "Ah." And then went along. You know, I'm prophetic, so that kind of irritated me because I feel like how all these people feel like they know something I don't. So I ran home. That's Good Friday. That's April 1st or 2nd or something. I ran home and went to pray, saying, "Who's this woman?" That I told him about how I prayed for 3.5 hours. I went to sleep. I have different type of visions or dreams, and this dream was just a pictorial dream. I was asking the Lord, "Who's this woman, and is she my wife?" And it started off me saying that, but then at the end of the 3 hours prayers, I was saying, "Not my will, your will be done." As I fell asleep, I saw a picture of Sydney looking at me smiling, and then I woke up to a phone call, Pastor Terry. Then you called me, and then tell them about when you called me saying, "Hey, I got the job from Barry Scott White." Then Pastor Fielder called you, and then Fogo the Child.
Okay, so maybe a couple days after I had that dream, I woke up and I basically, when I came to Texas, I was working in pediatrics. I never really wanted to work with kids, so I was just taking a job because there was no other job. So I started working with kids, really wanted to do something else. And so I finally got I don't want to call it a dream job, but I got the job that I went to school to get. And I was super excited because it was just like, man, almost a year of just trying to get this job. And like, oh man, that didn't even sum it up, but it was rough. But I finally get this job. I call Dawson. I'm like, dude, it happened. I got the job. And then the woman pastor,
Who laughed at me?
yes, she called me and she was like inviting me to dinner at this really, really nice Brazilian steakhouse. And then
you called me back, and he was like, "Yeah, sorry, Pastor Fielder called me. She was asking me to go to Fogo the Child." And I said, "Fogo the Child? Pastor Terry just invited me to go to Fogo the Child." And we were like, "All right, well." And now the whole time I was talking to you, I knew you were my wife.
so he knew I was his wife. And then that day, we were walking, we had dinner, we were walking. No, I'm talking.
You have to tell them how we sat next to each other.
Okay, we sat next to each other at the
Well,
restaurant.
I'm going through a different perspective because this whole time I'm knowing now for the first time, well, for sure, you're my wife.
And I'm like, duh, but
Anyway,
like
go.
I said, it didn't matter.
Whatever, go ahead.
Okay.
Dang.
And then we're walking to the car, And he's like, congratulations on your job. I'm so happy for you. Praise God. And he hugs me in this weird way. I'm like, whoa. Like he grabbed my back funny. Not like funny, but just
They gonna
like,
think
it
I'm
wasn't
trying
like
to
a
hunt
friendly, it
you.
wasn't like a friendly hug. I was like, okay, that
When you know something yours, you good.
it was a different type of hug. And then later we were like, let's just go get coffee and pray. So we were at his place praying. It's late. We were just like sitting next to each
Side
other.
note,
Why do you keep interrupting me?
you gotta tell these people just not everyone has the strength to go get coffee and pray at night.
We were getting coffee and praying because nothing else was open for
Yeah.
like dessert or whatever.
Yeah.
And we just went to pray.
Okay. I'm
We're
sorry.
sitting on the couch next to each other, praying in tongues. And then he lays his head in my lap. And I'm like, what are you doing? What is going on? And then he looks up at me and he says, I don't want you to say anything. Don't say anything. Just, I'm going to say something and let's just go back to praying. But you're my wife. And I just am like, don't say anything. And I'm really trying not to say anything, but I couldn't.
She could hold water.
What type of statement is that? I've been like back and forth for like 9 months. He's my husband. He's not my husband. He's my husband. He's not my husband. Then he just cuts me off, and then now we're just friends. So I'm accepted that we're friends.
Yeah.
But now you're my wife. Curveball.
You also said duh.
I did. I said duh.
And you were like, what? Doing that little cheese ball stuff.
Yeah.
And
And then we got married.
what, maybe a month and a half, 2 months after?
Yeah. At the courthouse.
Her family wanted to kill me because I married her so fast. But when you know, right?
When you know, you know.
Yeah. All right. We 4 years in the paint now. Would you change anything?
No.
If you are a single young woman who's in the Lord waiting on your husband, what would be your perspective or insight or wisdom you would give them so they know not to fall for a counterfeit, but they also know how to wait?
I never really had a counterfeit. I was just kind of like, there's no one else. I really didn't have a counterfeit.
Well, how could you get to that place and not have a counterfeit, though?
I cut everyone off that was not going after God the way I wanted to go after God.
I think that's the whole word.
Yeah. Like even people that were in the church, well, like they went to church. This is in my hometown in Ohio. People that went to church but still wanted to go out on the weekends and drink, even if they would like, oh, let me have a glass of wine at dinner. I was just kind of like, nope, because that's not how I want to live my life. So I literally cut everyone off. I had maybe 2 friends. Yeah, so there was nobody. I had no friends.
What if someone says, well, I need community? What? And she's not saying no community. It's just saying have the right community, I think. But it will come a point in time you need to separate yourself and be with the Lord. What about if a woman has confusion, or she's not sure if someone's her husband, or has no peace about a situation? What do you think they should do?
Shut up and wait. Just wait,
And not try to make it work?
right?
Okay.
Just wait and keep asking, keep seeking.
Cool.
Eventually.
Any last words?
No.
Y'all got her perspective and you heard the end of the thing. So, love y'all. Be blessed.